you what, a person who believes that this wasn't set up by our own government isn't it.
Okay, so what are your thoughts about 11C? 11C.
A group of characters. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. A group of characters. It's like each student in that class had a different character. Some were very outgoing. Some were very shy. Some were very confident. Some not so confident, but they were all a challenge. I have to say that was probably one of my most challenging classes, because although they all had different characters and many of the different types I didn't mention, they were all advanced. They were all very good in English, and I knew that would be the case when I made the class. I came up with the list of students because I wanted to challenge myself. So I knew I would have to come every lesson. I knew I had to come with the real. I couldn't I knew there was never going to be a lesson that I could not that I couldn't just chill and not teach. I knew I had to come with it every lesson, and I knew I had to limit my mistakes because I knew I was going to get corrected, because some of the students in the class, actually most of the students in the class, were very advanced. So there was nothing that was going to go over their head and say, nah, that's wrong. And so I expected to get corrected. So to keep myself from being embarrassed, I made sure I came with the real. So I didn't do a lot of preparation, the kind of preparation you do right before a lesson. I just made sure that I knew what I was talking about before I did the lesson. Not right before the lesson, but I just made sure that, okay, this week I'm going to be discussing this, so I need to make sure, I got everything that I'm supposed to say. The students themselves, they kept me on my toes. I want to say that I was surprised at the amount of work that I gave and the amount of work they did. I wasn't surprised in that. I think I was a little surprised at how quickly the class improved their quality of work. You can tell when students just do something just to do it to here, and you can tell when students are doing it for the purpose of impressing you. And even if it's not about impressing you, you can tell when students are doing it because they're concerned about getting it right. And I really enjoyed that. That actually makes a teacher's job easier, because you don't have to do a lot of in-depth correcting, because usually it's pretty much the way you wanted it to be. So I tried to hold back from nitpicking. And what I mean by that is trying to find little things wrong with something. I let that go, because I could tell in general that the class was really into what we were doing, whatever it is we were doing, because we did quite a bit. And having a motivated class like that enabled me to cover everything. Oftentimes in a year, you don't get to cover everything as a teacher. You don't get to cover everything that you want to cover. You know, idealistically, you make this plan and you say, okay, I'm going to cover all of that. Which, even when you're making the plan, you know, it's not realistic. So you end up, as the year goes, watering it down, breaking it down to just like the bare minimum of essential things that you have to do. I didn't have to do that. I was able to cover my idealistic plan that I made and even added some things. And that's not something that I'm able to do every year. So that's what makes that class, that 11C class, that's what made it special for me. And yeah. Now I know I'm going on and on about the teaching and preparation and things like that, and avoiding the students because that's just what I want to do. But yeah, each individual student, you know, it's really, you know, it's funny because it's hard, even as I'm talking, it's hard to talk about the class as a whole because I never really saw the class as a group. I always saw the class as individuals, and so it's difficult to give a comment about the class when you're thinking about what to say. You're actually thinking about individuals in the class because each individual had some skill set or some talent or some character or just something about them that made them stand out, you know. So yeah, so 11C will be remembered as the group of characters. That's 11C.
Okay.
Everybody's gone out of their mind.
Welcome to Mr. Quick's class.
Which class? Mr. Quick. Welcome. Which class?
Mr. Quick class.
Mr. Quick.